Hey, welcome to our first Lessons in Leadership session for 2022. I'm so excited that you're joining us, that you're choosing to take this time to watch this video and to listen to this content. And I truly believe that what I'm going to share today and even throughout this year is going to have a positive impact in your life and your leadership journey. You know, this idea of lessons in leadership is really about taking some intentional time as a community to invest in the area of leadership. You know, you may be watching this video and wondering, is this for me? Is this content for me? I want to encourage you. The Bible clearly says that we're all called to influence. We're all called to have influence in the areas, in the spheres, in the places that we exist and do life, in our home, in our workplace, in our community, wherever that may be for you. We're all called to have influence. And so our desire is that through these videos, through this content that we share, we can all take steps forward in this area of leadership and influence. You know, throughout 2022, we're going to be providing these sessions on demand. We have done a few sessions in person before, but I just think with COVID and the unpredictability of being able to meet in person, we will do these sessions on demand so that you can watch them in your own time and around your own schedule. And so I just hope that they're a help to you. Just a heads up, at Grace Church this year, our ministry leaders are all going to be working through this book, and it's called Help I Work with People. This is by Pastor Chad Veach. And so as I said, as a team here at Grace Church, we're working through this book together and to glean and to learn the leadership principles that Chad presents and talks about. And so over the next few sessions with Lessons in Leadership, we'll actually be looking at some of the content in this book. And so I want to encourage you, grab your own copy, paperback copy, order it in. You've got a few weeks to do that. Download it, listen to it on Audible. However you consume content, this book is available, and it looks good on your coffee table as well. And so that's always a good thing. So this book by Chad Veach, Help I Work with People, grab yourself a copy. We'll start looking at some content next time we are together. But I want to jump in today. You know, January is a time where we evaluate last year. I do anyway. I think about how last year's gone in different areas of my life, and I'm assessing what the year ahead looks like. I'm asking questions like, you know, what am I doing? How am I doing it? Why am I doing it? Why am I doing things the way that I'm doing them? And I'm seeing the outcomes that I want to see. And so I hope that you're asking those questions as well. And if you're not, I consider you to take a few minutes and think and write down different areas of your life and what's happening and how productive or the outcomes you're seeing there, what it looks like for you, and assess it for the year ahead. You know, often when we talk about leadership, we talk about influencing other people, which is what leadership is. Leadership is influence and being able to see people move in a direction and in a culture and achieve outcomes together. And to see people flourish and thrive and to support people in doing that. That's absolutely leadership. But in order to lead other people, we need to be able to lead ourselves well. To be able to have impact, to be able to see other people thrive, we first need to be able to see ourselves have impact and to see ourselves thrive as well. And so today, I want to share a leadership principle that can see you take steps forward and thrive in 2022. You know, I want to talk about the most valuable asset that you possess. Take a second to think, what do you think the most valuable asset is that you have? Well, in my opinion, it's time. Time is the most valuable asset that you have, and I will invest into your time in this session today. You know, we all have the same amount of time. We have 168 hours in a week. We have 24 hours a day. Time can't be bought. We can't buy any more of it. I think sometimes we wish that we could maybe have a couple extra hours in the day, but we all are in the same position. We all have the same amount of time. Let's just talk averages for a second. You know, let's just say on average, you sleep 8 hours a day. You work for 8 hours a day. You have 8 hours left in your day for rest, for play, for commuting, for other commitments, whatever that may look like. And I don't know about you, but sometimes it can often feel impossible to achieve all that we want to achieve in a day, whether that's at home whether that's at work, whatever it may be, we can often feel like we maybe don't stop during the day. We go, 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 yet we can get to the end of the day and feel like we haven't been productive. We haven't achieved what we wanted to achieve. We haven't got done what we wanted to get done. And so I think it's a great thing to talk about time management, which is what we're talking about today. But I think it's also important to talk about productivity and how time management should produce productivity. You know, this is an area which I'm actively working on in my leadership journey, to make sure that I'm being as productive as I can with the time that I have. And so through January, I've been listening, at the back end of December and through January, I've been listening to a book by Kerry Newhoff. He's another leading voice in the area of leadership. And the book is called At Your Best. And the underlying principle of this book, At Your Best, is that you can discover and work out how to get your time, energy, and resources to work for you. Your time, energy, and resources to work for you, so you can be at your best and you can perform at your best. I think that's something that we all desire, to be able to get time, energy, and resources to work for us. Again, it's a great resource to look into. It's called At Your Best. It's available in paperback, or you can download it. You can download an Audible, Kindle, all of the platforms. And I'd encourage you, if this is an area that you want to invest in and move forward in, have a listen and a read to Kerry's book. And just to full disclosure, the principles that I'm sharing today are things that I've been working on and implementing, and also from his book as well. And so come on this journey with us. You know, as I've said, time management is great for organization, but it's also about producing productivity. It's not just about being organized, but it's about getting the best results and having the greatest impact out of what you do, whether it's at work, at home, whenever that may be. And so, as I've said, I'm a work in progress with this. I'm applying these principles to my life and to my area of work. And I can say it is releasing, it is freeing, and I'm starting to see these things actually be fruitful in my leadership journey. So I want to start off by saying, why is what I'm talking about today important? Time management, productivity is important because research would suggest that we each have 3 to 5 hours a day where we're functioning at our best. As I've already said, we may sleep for 8 hours, which leaves 16 other hours that we're awake doing activities, whether that's work, spending time with family and friends, doing things around the house, commuting, whatever that may be. And so for those 16 hours, you are at your best for between 3 to 5 hours. 5 hours is best case scenario, 3 hours is worst case scenario, and that just depends for each and every one of us. What does that mean? It means that you're most alert, you're most engaged, you're most energized, most decisive, your most pleasant mood, which is important for everybody, and you're most motivated for 3 to 5 hours a day. This is when you're going to see your best outcomes and achieve your best impact. You know, this doesn't give me much faith in pilots. You know, I've been on flights that are much longer than 3 to 5 hours, and I'm just thinking, if they're only at their best for 3 to 5 hours, I don't really know what the plan is in the cockpit there, but I hope that they've got some sort of plan, because I hope that they can be alert for the full duration of any flight. But you know, depending on your profession, your workday may be filled with a whole range of tasks. You know, maybe administration. You may be a manual worker, a craftsman, a chippy or a builder, using your hands, having different manual labor tasks. You know, planning, project management, strategy, meetings and presentations, content creation, replying and responding to emails if you're managing teams, whatever that may look like, tasks may range. And so some of you may have complete control over your day and your planner. Some of you may have limited or little control over that. But what I want to encourage you to do, and what I want to encourage you to think about, is to manage your time to do what you're best at when you're at your best, to do what is going to have the greatest impact in your organization, your leadership, your place of work, your area of responsibility, whatever's going to have the greatest impact, do those things when you're at your best. Do those things in that 3 to 5 hour window so that you can see the greatest impact in the places that you lead. You know, what does this look like practically? If you're an accountant, it's doing your most complex tax work when you're at your best. If you're a CEO or a business owner, it's using that time to strategize and to think about vision and troubleshooting. Maybe it's meeting with key leaders and making your key decisions during that time. If you're a craftsman or a mechanic, using your hands, it's during that time the most complex, intricate work. If you're a pastor like me, maybe it's your sermon preparation, maybe it's important pastoral catch-ups, it's your vision casting, your time of prayer and contemplation when you're at your best. You know, athletes peak training when you're at your best. And if you're a pilot, please fly your plane when you're at your best. And so that's practically what this looks like. Doing what you're best at when you're at your best. Now, how do we structure and make that happen in a workday, let's say? Well, firstly, you need to identify the zones and when you're in them. Identify the zones and when you're in them. That's the first thing that we're going to talk about today. Now, there's 3 zones to identify for you. You have a green zone, a yellow zone, and a red zone, just like a traffic light. Green, yellow, and red. And so let's just talk about the definitions around these zones. And so first of all, the green zone is when you would identify that 3 to 5 hour window in your day when you are at your best. This is when you have your optimal energy and you're most engaged, when you're focused, you're decisive, you have clarity of thought. Maybe that's when your creativity flows, you're motivated, you're in a good mood, you're good to be around, and you're engaged in the tasks that you're working on. As I said, that's 3 to 5 hours in your day. Now, while you're in your green zone, the idea is to do what you're best at while you're at your best. It's what you're going to have the most impact doing. That's when we need to be doing our green zone. Now, your yellow zone, you've got moderate energy, you're still able to function, but you know that you're not at your best. You may be a little bit more lethargic, a little bit more easily distracted, maybe not as forgiving or gracious to be around. Obviously, you've still got to operate and you've still got to function, but you're not at your optimal. Now, this is where you want to place tasks which you still need to get done, but they're not going to have the greatest impact. It may be responding to administrative emails or doing a little bit of planning, a little bit of foresight planning. It's not going to have immediate impact in what you're doing, but it still needs to get done. That's where we need to do our yellow zone tasks. Red zone. This is where productivity doesn't really happen. It's 9 o'clock at night. You're finishing your day. You maybe just want to watch a bit of TV and you're preparing to go to bed. That's your red zone, and that's an area that we need to accept exists. And I want to say that sleep's still productive because it sets us up for the day ahead, but it's not a task-orientated outcome that we're looking to produce. And so we have a green zone, a yellow zone, and a red zone. And so the key for us all is to identify your zones. Identify when your zones exist in your day. You know, you may have heard it said that you're maybe a morning person, an afternoon person, and an evening person, and I completely agree that those people exist. You know, you need to work out when it is that you best thrive and are at your best. You know, my green zone, my day looks a bit like this. 6:30 a.m, generally my kids wake up, and that's when my day starts, and you jump straight in. You're preparing breakfast for the kids, getting them ready for their day, and then you're heading out to work. And so my day starts early then, and I get to work about 9 a.m, and I would say my green zone is from 9 a.m. till 1 p.m. There's probably a 4-hour window for me where I feel like I'm engaged, driven, motivated, and you know, most able to achieve the most important tasks. I'd say after 1 p.m, I have a little bit of a lull where I feel tired. That's where I then need to recoup, maybe go and get some lunch, go for a walk, do some yellow zone tasks which are maybe not as pressing or as important. And then I find between 3 and 4 p.m, I have another pickup where I feel like, again, I can really engage in some high impact work. and then I tend to finish my day towards 5 o'clock with again some tasks which aren't as pressing or going to be immediately impactful in the work that I do. And so that's generally the ebb and flow of my day. But my green zone is 9 till 1. Now for Georgie, she can speak for herself. That's my wife, Georgie. She can speak for herself, but Georgie would be more, I would say, of an afternoon, evening person. You know, she comes alive when it goes dark. That's when she feels like she's most engaged and is most productive. And so her day will ebb and flow differently to mine. Her zones will look differently to mine, and your zones may look different again. Now, what I would encourage you to do over the next few weeks is to identify your zones, actively monitor your energy, your engagement, ask people, when am I most pleasurable to be around? Get feedback from people, but think about when it is that you are switched on the most to identify your zones, and you begin to plan your day around it. Map out your day. You know, when is your green zone? When is your yellow zone? When is your red zone? And when you've done this, I've got an activity for you to do. In this email that you've received, or in the notes on YouTube, there are some links for you to follow to Kerry Newhoff's website, his At Your Best website, and he has some free resources for you to take advantage of. Now, the first thing I'd love you to do is to have a look at his Thrive calendar. Now, this Thrive calendar is compatible to your Outlook calendar or other platforms that you may use for calendar planning. And what it does is it allows you to be able to map out green, yellow, and red zones in your day, which I just think is a phenomenal resource. It then allows you to be able to plan and to put your tasks into your day depending upon your zones. And so I'd love you to go and head to the website, click on that Thrive calendar, take a look at it, download it, and begin to map out your day once you understand where your zones are. It's a great resource to have, and it can keep you on track in managing your time and producing productivity. Now, the second task, once you've downloaded that calendar and you've worked out your zones and worked out your optimal zones, is to prioritize your tasks in your zones. You know, it's coming back to that question again. What is it that you have? What is it that you have most impact with? What is it that you do that has most impact in your area of influence and the people that you lead? And so again, it's about working out, putting the tasks which have most impact in your green zone, the tasks which maybe have moderate or little impact in your yellow zone, and working from there. You know, there's a simple equation to help us work through this, and it's that we prioritize to produce productivity to achieve progress. You know, I think we all want to achieve progress, and if we can prioritize our tasks when we are at our best, it's going to produce productivity and we're going to achieve progress. And so prioritize your tasks and put them into your zones to achieve progress. Now, task number 3 is to work through this sheet here, which again, you can see in the email or a link in the YouTube comments below. And it's an optimal green zone focused cheat sheet. This is to help you first understand how to prioritize your green zone tasks, and so work through these questions. After that, it's then working out which priorities of yours go into your green, yellow, and red. Again, a really good resource here, really simple to work through to help us understand what needs to go into which section of our day. And so I want to encourage you to take some time at the start of this year to assess what you're doing it, when you're doing it, and why you're doing it. Because I believe if we can be intentional with our time, if we can prioritize and put the tasks in place for when we're at our best, what's going to have the most impact, we're going to see our organizations, we're going to see our leadership, we're going to see our influence move forward. Now, I understand that this is only one, let's use the word theory, one concept that we can implement into time management and productivity. If you have another way that you do things and that works for you, continue with that. But if you're not seeing the outcomes, if you're not seeing the progress, if you're taking work home with you at a weekend, if you're not seeing the key things that you need to get done in a timely manner to the standard that you want to see them happen, then this is a great tool for you to implement at the start of 2022 and see what happens as you progress through this year. I'm certainly doing it, and so we can go on this journey together. But the final thing that I want to say is it's all about applying this. This is theory until we apply it. And so this idea of lessons in leadership is we want to give you practical things to apply to your everyday to see you continue to move forward in your leadership journey. Hey, take some time, watch this video back if you need to. We'll be back in February with another lessons in leadership session based on this book, Help I Work with People. I'm looking forward to this year. I'm looking forward to hearing about the steps forward that we all take in our leadership journey. But until next month, be blessed, take care, and we'll chat to you then.